to territory to commence mobilization for the nationwide protest to end the lingering ASU strike. The federal government has restated that it has conducted a major analytical operation that has forced on the individual financing the Boko Haram terrorist group and its affiliates in the country. This was disclosed at the opening session of a 5-day compliance summit organized by the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa. The director of the Nigerian Finance Intelligence Unit, Mr. Mohammed Jihar, stated that the government has so far requested from 28 countries for more information about the suspected terror financier. He further stated that the government received a response from countries including Benin Republic, Cameroon, Chad, Ghana, and the Niger Republic. Now to Tunisia now. The head of the Islamic Ennahda party in Tunisia, Roussel Ghannouchi, has arrived in court for questioning by the counter-terrorism prosecutor. He has been investigated over allegations of corruption and money laundering connected to a charity that is linked to Ennahda. Mr. Ghannouchi says the accusation against him and his party are politically motivated. Ennahda has led opposition to President Kais Saied, who has effectively introduced one-man rule with referendums on changing the constitution due to be held this month. In Somalia, the World Food Programme says up to 20 million people in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia are at risk of starvation by the end of this year, as the worst drought in 4 decades is ranging through Horn of Africa. Somalia is bearing the brunt, with half of the population now hungry. Hundreds of thousands of people are abandoning their homes in rural Somalia and heading to camp for internal displays. Their field are bare, crops have failed, and dead livestock are strewn along the road. This is the worst drought in the last decade, according to the expert, and famine is looming. There are thousands of children who are unaccompanied in the camps. Older siblings have taken the role of caregiver, as the father have gone to town to look for food, and the mothers are stuck in hospital where the rate of severe malnutrition is at all-time high. Deaths are now being reported. In one center in Baidoa, at least 20 children died between May and June, according to record. It's still to come foreign news and sport. Welcome back. You're still listening to the global news from Solo 95.7 FM. Now to the rest of the story. The foreign news. The Western European country faces a more uncomfortable earth temperature today as the ferocious heat wave heads north. In France and the UK, extreme heat warning were issued, while northern Spain recorded a temperature of 43 degrees Celsius on Monday. Deadly wildfire in France, Portugal, Spain, and Greece have forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes. The UK is expected to see its hottest on record, and experts say part of the France face what is called a heat apocalypse. 2 people were killed by forest fires in Spain's northwestern Zamora region, and trains in the area were halted near the tracks. An elderly couple died while trying to escape fire in northern Portugal. Several parts of the France saw their hottest ever days, with the western city of Nantes recording 42 degrees Celsius, the national weather have recorded. Say UK, Conservative members of the Parliament are preparing to vote in the latest ballot to decide the two leadership candidates to be put to a vote of member. One of the four remaining contender, Rishi Sunak, Penny Mordaunt, Liz Truss and Kemi Barnadoch will be eliminated after today's vote. Mr. Sunak looks almost certain to make the final two, with the other three candidates vying for second place. Senior backbencher Tom Tugendhat was knocked out after Monday's vote of members of the parliament. In a series of votes, Conservative members of the parliament are aiming to cut down the field down to two candidates before the Commons breaks for summer on Thursday. Tory party members will then pick the winner after a summer of campaigning by the two final contenders, with a result announced on 5th of September. Russian President Vladimir Putin visits Iran today in just his second foreign trip since he launched the invasion of Ukraine in February. Mr. Putin is to put Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. A Turkish official said that grain exports Syria and Ukraine will be discussed in Tehran. The Russian leader has limited his international visit to the former Soviet states since war broke out in Ukraine. Today's visit will offer Mr. Putin the opportunity to deepen his ties with Iran, one of the Moscow few remaining international ally and fellow target of Western economic sanction. The meeting comes amid the warning from the US last week that Iran is preparing to sell drones to Russia to use in Ukraine. The National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Tehran is planning to provide hundreds of combat drones to Moscow, and Iran's soldiers will train their Russia counterpart in how to use the drones, with a lesson beginning in just a few weeks. In a related story, Ukraine First Lady Olena Zelenska is also in the United States for a series of high-level meetings and address to Congress. A visit comes A visit comes 4 months after her husband, President Volodymyr Zelensky, made a virtual speech to Congress, pressing for more military equipment. According to the White House, Mrs. Zelenska met Secretary of the State Antony Blinken on Monday and is due to hold talks with her counterpart Jill Biden today, which is the second encounter the two First Lady have met after Dr. Biden made an unannounced visit to Ukraine in May. She is due to deliver remarks to lawmakers on Capitol Hill on Wednesday. Mrs. Zelenska has no official portfolio in the Ukrainian government, but after nearly 5 months of Russian war in Ukraine, Kiev is keen to seek more military aid and political backing from the U.S. Congress has already approved nearly $40 billion in aid to Ukraine that is due to be fully delivered by the end of September. On Monday, Mrs. Zelenska also met Samantha Power, head of the U.S. Agency for International Development. The agency has been given billions of dollars to support Ukraine's government and for humanitarian needs, as well as working to tackle a global food shortage aggravated by Russia's war. A gunman who killed 17 people at his former high school has gone on trial in Florida, with jurors set to decide whether he faces the death penalty or life in prison. Nicholas Crooks, 23, pleaded guilty last year to 17 counts of first-degree murder over the 2018 Parkland shooting. As the prosecutors seek the death penalty, defense lawyers are pushing for life in prison without parole. The trial is expected to last 4 to 6 months. month and will be televised. It is a rare case of a mass shooter appearing before a jury in the U.S., as they are frequently killed by police or take their own lives. The shooting at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School on Valentine's Day 2018 is also the deadliest to go after a jury in the country. Now in the sport, Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema has protested against a late penalty that cost his country a ticket to the final of the Women's African Cup of Nations. South Africa needed a contentious stoppage time penalty to secure a 1-0 victory over Zambia on Monday. Martha Temple was adjourned to have fouled Jermaine Sao-Pessensewe on the edge of a penalty box, but it appears that the Temple has blocked an attempted pass before the momentums of the Bayana forward took into the Zambia defender. The Copa Queens will now face Nigerians in the battle of third place. President Hichilema called the team after their loss of South Africa and encouraged them to work harder. And that's the global news of this hour. For comments, suggestions, breaking news, you can reach us on 0915-222-2957, 0915-5555-957. You can as well follow us on all our social medias handle. That's on the Instagrams at Soul 95.7 FM, on Facebook, Soul 95.7 FM. But before we go, recaps of the top stories. In the news, we brought to you that a breakaway faction of the Academic Staff Union of University, the Congress of Nigerian University Academy, has disassociated itself from ongoing strike in Nigerian University. Also in the news, of the World Food Program says up to 20 million people in Kenya, Ethiopia and Somalia are at risk of starvation by the end of the year, and the worst drought in 4 decades is raging through the Horn of Africa. And also the Western Union faces more uncomfortable hot temperature today as the ferocious heat waves heads north. Also in the news, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Iran today, just his second foreign trip since he launched the invasion of Ukraine in February. Thanks for listening. I am Olusegun Okedeji. Good afternoon.
Ọ̀dọ́wálé Jásí So 95.7 FM rédíò amọ́kànní ṣípayá sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. Àwọn ètò lóríṣiríṣi tí ó ṣe yín láǹfààní lẹ́ẹ̀ máa gbọ́ lórí rédíò yìí So